In this video, we're going to be checking out the lore of the Necron Warrior overlord himself, Imotekh the Stormlord.
Sci-fi wargamers.
Greetings, hobby fans. My name's Marcel, and it's my mission to help you explore the hobby. So today we're going to check out Imotekh the Stormlord. He is a Necron that's been around for a long time, and he's probably the HQ of many people's old Necron lists. I say old as the Silent King is now knocking about, isn't he? Anyway, let's jump in. Imotekh the Stormlord, Phaeron of the Sautekh Dynasty. Nemesaur Imotekh awoke from the great sleep to find his tomb world in disarray. Mandragora had survived the eons mostly intact, only to fall foul of unrestrained ambition. The Crown World's Phaeron had been one of the few to perish during hibernation, and once they had quashed immediate alien threats, the remaining nobles had moved to seize the throne. A decade of internecine civil war followed, with no faction able to gain victory. During this time, the revivification of high-ranking nobles was suspended, as neither side wished to awaken further competitors. Had this situation continued, Imotekh would likely have slumbered until the civil war had torn Mandragora apart. As it was, one of the pretenders struck upon the idea of recruiting the famous general to his cause. With such a supporter in thrall, victory could not fail to be his. However, when Imotekh awoke, he was both enraged and appalled at the anarchy about him. Realizing that Mandragora's only hope of restoration lay in the civil war ending as swiftly as possible, he refused to support either faction. Instead, Imotekh marshalled an army of his own, destroyed the chief antagonists, and claimed Mandragora's throne for himself. The newly crowned Phaeron thereafter forbade any form of infighting within his realm, declaring such activities to be a waste of time, effort, and resources. This law was ill-observed at first, but swiftly became the norm once Imotekh had proven his willingness to make terminal examples of those who flouted his authority. Between this rule of iron and a swift string of military successes against nearby worlds, Imotekh's position soon became unassailable. Indeed, to this day, his only true rival is the famed Nemesaur Xandrek of the Crown World of Gidrim. But the old general's loyalty is as unquestionable as his wits are addled, so he is of little threat. Imotekh is a grand strategist, perhaps the most accomplished the galaxy has ever known. His campaigns operate not only across worlds, but across entire star systems and sectors. When Imotekh launches an attack, it is impossible to discern if it is the main thrust of his strategy or simply a decoy raid, crafted to bleed enemy reinforcements away from a battle yet to come. All such assaults are carefully weighted to overwhelm enemy forces already in place, requiring the foe to either sacrifice his troops or reinforce them, and Imotekh's plans are always many stages ahead, set to take advantage of either course. Indeed, the Stormlord's battle plans are incredibly versatile, seeded with feint attacks, counter strategies, and other contingencies enacted automatically should certain circumstances be triggered or thresholds crossed. To outside observers, there is something almost mystical to Imotekh's methodology, for how else could he so flawlessly anticipate the unseen? Yet in truth, there is nothing more at play here than the careful application of probabilities and logic. combined with a canny understanding of the foe's mindset. So impeccable are the logical patterns behind the Stormlord's strategies that the only way a foe can gain truly meaningful advantage is to abandon all logic themselves, something that most enemies find incredibly difficult to do. But Orkish anarchy achieves as naturally as breathing. Thus does the Stormlord hate Orks above all the lesser races of the galaxy, for no matter how hard he tries, he rarely wins a lasting victory over the rabblesome greenskins. Yet lasting victories against the Orks there must be, for Imotech's goal is nothing less than to wipe them from the face of the galaxy. The Stormlord is unshakable in his belief that only when the galaxy is washed clean with the blood of inferior beings will Necron dominance begin anew. As Phaeron of the Sautekh Dynasty, Imotekh can draw upon incredible resources, for the armies of the entire dynasty are his to requisition at need. Yet the Stormlord knows that the foe, all other sentient life, is too numerous for victory to be won through force of arms alone. Thus, for Imotekh, terror is a weapon as potent as any in the Necron arsenal, and one he employs to full effect. His armies advance under the cover of storm-blackened skies, emerald lightning bolts arcing out from heavy clouds to wreak carnage amongst the foe. Enemy armies that advance into the shadow of the storm are simply swallowed up, cut off from all contact while the battle lasts. Any warriors that escape from the Maelstrom's clutches do so only to sow panic, fear and dismay amongst their comrades. Worse, some such survivors are implanted with bloodswarm nanoscarabs, whose gore-warm scent acts as an irresistible beacon for roaming packs of flayed ones. If the Stormlord has one weakness, it is a prideful need to display his superiority over those enemy commanders foolish enough to stand against him. High-ranking enemies are often set free upon their defeat so that they will have to live with the knowledge of their inadequacy. This is a lesson invariably reinforced by physical mutilation, a severed limb normally being the favoured method. Yet, with every battle, these surviving foes learn a little more of the Stormlord's methods, and the best of them only become more determined to see his campaigns ended once and for all. High Marshal Helbrecht of the Black Templars in particular has run the Stormlord close on more than one occasion, though victory has thus far escaped his grasp. The fact that Imotekh suffers from such a personal form of martial hubris stands in stark contrast to the analytical and emotionless detachment he displays when planning and conducting campaigns. It is possible that stasis-induced eccentricity is to blame, but for which trait? Is Imotekh a master strategist whose engrammic damage spurs him to seek personal glory, or a bellicose warrior granted strategic genius through an accident of fate? In the end, it does not matter. If Imotech's defeat comes, it is sure not to be at the hands of a superior strategist, but rather at the hands of a more accomplished warrior. And there will be many opportunities for such a downfall. Imotech's domain is growing at a rate unparalleled amongst the Necron dynasties. 80 tomb worlds lie under his regal command, and 5 times as many alien-held planets pay direct or indirect tribute. The number of alien civilizations Imotekh has destroyed during his campaigns cannot easily be counted. Such a realm is as nothing when compared to the galaxy-spanning Imperium or the Necron dynasties at the height of their glory, but is nonetheless impressive for the work of a mere 200 years. Such expansion has come at a price, however, and Imotekh's dynasty is now starting to come to the notice of several other realms. On Macragge, reports of Necron activity beyond Ultramar's northern borders have reached the attention of Marneus Calgar. Eandon's Farseers have sensed a peril before their craft world that is, in its way, as great a threat as the Tyrannid menace that lies behind. Rumours of a sinister power on the march have reached even the Tau Empire, though, as ever, their prevailing interpretation is one of opportunity, rather than threat. It is only a matter of time before the Sautekh Dynasty comes into direct conflict with these other realms, and if forced to war with two or more at the same time, Imotekh's genius will surely be tested. So what do you think of Imotekh the Stormlord? Is he a good HQ choice? Do you use him in your games? Has he been outclassed by the Silent King? Let us know in the comments below. I find it interesting. No, I don't, do I? I find it interesting that he has a bit of a problem with Orks. I wonder if they will be the death of him. The death of him. It's really hard to say. If you enjoy the content here on this channel, then please consider joining our Patreon, the link to which is in the description below. If you want to see more heroes and villains of the 40k universe, then check out the playlist up here somewhere. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That means you, David. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.